Hi guys, so I just wanted to come on here and explain my absence to you guys. I'm wearing my retainer again, so if I'm lisping or if I say things a little weird, I'm sorry. But anyway, so around February, I started feeling just not good all of the time. I was having really bad migraines and nausea, crampiness, stomach pains, and I was chalking it up to I'm gonna start soon. So February comes and goes, and I never started. And I was feeling so horrible all week long. So finally, one of the weeks in March, um, I was feeling so terrible that I just didn't really get out of bed for a couple of days. And so that was around a Thursday or a Friday. Come Saturday, I was like, I just need to get a pregnancy test and see if that's why I've been feeling so crummy, because I haven't started. There's no reason I shouldn't have started. And I'm tired of feeling so crummy. So we run to Walgreens, and then we get Chick-fil-A, we get home and eat dinner, and then I go and take one of the tests. So I got a box that had a regular test that shows the plus and the minus sign, and then the other test was a digital one. So I took the normal one first, waited a while. Nothing ever showed up, so I assumed it was a dud. So I threw it in the trash can and got the digital one. So I did the digital test, and it said pregnant. And I had all of the emotions. I was crying, I was scared, I was nervous, I was excited. Because if you guys have been watching me for a while, you know, we've definitely wanted another baby or two in the future. And we've never meant to wait this long, because Alden will be 7 this year. So it was a really happy surprise, honestly. And after seeing the pregnant on the digital test, for some reason I took the other test out of the trash and it said positive. I was like, what? So that at least explained why I had been feeling so horrible for months on end. And so the next day, when I went to get groceries and whatnot at Target, I picked up some prenatal vitamins. I started taking them every single day. I started drinking as much water as I could every day. You guys know, not a big water drinker, but I was trying to drink a lot more water every day. And because of the nausea, I started eating smaller, frequent meals throughout the day, and I swear to you that actually works. With Alden, I was so nauseous and physically sick all the time. The thought of eating anything made me feel sick, so this time at least it actually helped me to eat small, frequent meals. So I, of course, downloaded a pregnancy app to see how far along I was. And so I input the date of my last period, and it said that my due date was November 5th. And the day that I took the pregnancy test, I was exactly 6 weeks pregnant, which is why the week leading up to that weekend, I felt at my absolute worst. So I called my doctor. She was my doctor when I was pregnant with Alden, and I knew I wanted her to be my same doctor. So I made an appointment with her, but she was so booked up that she couldn't get me in until April. Now, I found out pretty early on in March, so it was gonna be a while before I could get in to see her. And I just did everything that I could to do the right thing, basically. And come the end of March, I believe it was the 28th, which was a Monday, I noticed that I started spotting. And of course, it freaked me out because I never had that with Alden. And so I called my sister. She said it's totally normal to spot. I had that with all three of my kids. It's normal. You're fine. Like, don't stress about it. So I said, okay. I've even heard of women having like full-on periods while pregnant, so I know what happens. But as the week went on, the bleeding got a little heavier. So it was Thursday night. It was like 5 p.m., of course, like right when the doctor offices close. But I sent a message to my doctor right after 5 p.m. And I knew I wouldn't hear back from her until at least Friday morning. But I sent a message like, hey, I know my appointment with you isn't until, April, April. But I noticed I started spotting earlier this week and it has gotten a little bit heavier and I'm a little concerned and I didn't know if you could tell me something that I could do for it at home. And to my surprise, this doctor is seriously amazing. She messaged me back at like 10 that night and she said, come to my office in the morning for labs to get your blood drawn to make sure everything is okay. I said, okay. So we went out to her doctor's office and I had my blood drawn and they told me if I got there before noon, I would have my results the same day. So I did. I got there before noon, had my blood drawn, and left. It was all within like 10 minutes. It was very fast. So she didn't hear back about the results until later that night, but she did get back to me and she said that my HCG levels were really good. They were 2142, and she said the only thing was that my progesterone levels were a little low at 6.1. She said with progesterone, you really want them to be 10 or above. So she sent in a prescription of progesterone for me to take. But by the time I heard from her Friday night with my results, my pharmacy was closed. So I wasn't able to pick up the progesterone until Saturday. But she wanted me to take it Saturday night before bed and then Sunday night before bed. And then she wanted me to come back to her office Monday morning to see if the progesterone helped my levels at all. So Saturday comes and I'm just not feeling good at all. When I woke up, my lower left side was hurting. And I was honestly trying to stay off of my feet as much as possible because the bleeding had gotten a lot heavier, especially on Saturday. Like Saturday, it felt like I was on my period. And so I had my fiance go to the pharmacy and pick up the progesterone for me so I would have it for that night to take before bed. And I would say around 9 o'clock that night, on a scale of 1 to 10, my pain was at like a 7 or 8. It was so bad. It wasn't just my lower left side anymore. It was my entire lower abdomen. And I couldn't stop bleeding. And I don't know if this needs a trigger warning, but trigger warning. I noticed blood clots. So even though it was a Saturday and I knew I wouldn't hear back from my doctor whatsoever over the weekend, I did send her messages letting her know everything that was going on. Like, my pain was really bad, my bleeding was really heavy, there were clots, blah, 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 so on and so forth. And I actually debated going to the emergency room Saturday night. I was on the verge of a panic attack because the pain was so bad. Um, but Alden actually like calmed me down from my panic attack, and I was able to like situate myself in bed where I was like comfortable. I put an ice pack on the lower half of my stomach, and it definitely helped numb the pain. And so Sunday came, and the pain was once again just on my lower left side, but it did hurt to walk, which was really weird. I was kind of limping around. Um, it didn't last all day, but like definitely when I first woke up, it was a little bit hard to walk. And so I sent another message to my doctor's office just letting them know what was going on. And so Monday morning, as I'm getting ready to go to her office to have more labs done, I did get a message from them saying that, you know, Dr. So-and-so would really like for you to go to the emergency room instead of coming here because they can get a lot more tests and things done, and they'll have the results a lot quicker than we could. So I said, okay. And there's like a hospital and emergency room not that far from me. So around 9:30 in the morning, I get to the ER, I sign in and everything. Luckily, I was the first one there. Nobody else was in the waiting room, which was really nice. Of course, as I'm waiting, like the waiting room fills up, but I was glad to have been the first one there. About an hour later, they finally call me back to go to a room, and they drew my blood. They gave me an IV just to get some fluids in my system, and they needed a urine sample. And there was a lot of just me laying around in a hospital bed waiting and waiting all day. And they took me upstairs, which I didn't even know my ER had an upstairs. I don't know. I was shocked. And they did a like a on the belly ultrasound and a transvaginal ultrasound, and they didn't see anything. So they took me back to my room, and because of my blood type, any of you out there who are moms know this. If you are a negative blood type, you have to get a RhoGAM shot, because if your baby is born, or if your baby has positive blood, then that can cause a lot of issues for both you and the baby. So even though I had like all of that going on, I did still have to get the RhoGAM shot. And I remember it hurting way more when I had to get it when I was pregnant with Alden. It didn't really hurt this time, thank God. But anyway, so, you know, towards the end of me having to be there, the lady came in and she was like, we didn't see anything on the ultrasound, and, you know, there's no baby. You had a miscarriage and all of that, which honestly, I didn't expect to hear different news, because after Saturday happened, like, I knew Saturday that that's what was happening. I could just tell. And I didn't feel pregnant at all anymore. So I finally left the hospital around 2 p.m. and when we got home, I got in bed. I cried a little while. Um, and then Tuesday was an okay day. I it was okay. Wednesday, I felt like I had an emotional breakdown. I felt like I didn't deserve love. I felt like nobody loved me. I felt like I let everybody down because my body lost this baby. And I know that none of that is true, but in the moment, if you've ever gone through this or if you're going through this now, like those feelings are so real and it's scary, it's lonely, it's a really hard thing to deal with. But I just wanted to kind of put this out there also because if any of you are going through this right now, or if you know somebody going through this right now, like you or they are not alone, and it's okay to feel all the feelings because it's normal, but you are worthy of love. You are loved, and you're not a failure. This happens, and we will all have our rainbow babies one day. Um, so I like to look at it as now we have a little angel baby up in heaven with my dad, my fiance's dad, and that little angel baby is looking down over Alden. And yeah, so it was a super long process. I don't want it to sound graphic, so I'm sorry if it does, but I was literally bleeding for 3 weeks on end. Um, it was like the longest, most painful period you could ever have. There were days where I thought that I was done bleeding and I was very wrong, and I would wake up the next morning wishing I had slept with a pad on. I'm so sorry that that's graphic. That's the truth of the situation. But I'm finally done now. I have gone to my doctor for a follow-up, and she said that my HCG levels are still a little bit high, like they're still positive. So she wants me to go get more labs done next week just to make sure that my levels are going down the way that they're supposed to. So that is why I was not making videos for a long time. I was really going through it, and I just wasn't ready to pick up the camera and pretend to feel happy when I was really down and sad and all of the emotions. So I'm doing so much better though, mentally, physically. I'm not in any pain. My mindset is a lot better. And I am ready to try again and have a rainbow baby in the near future. So, one thing I didn't get to do with Alden was document my pregnancy journey. Because I didn't really start YouTube until after I had Alden. So when the time comes, I would love to document it and just have you guys along for the journey. I think it would be so much fun. And I love watching other people that I watch, like, becoming moms and, like, sharing their journey along the way. But I'm going to leave it at that for now. But if any of you are going through this, or you have gone through this, or you know somebody that's going through this, you're not alone. You can always get a hold of me, contact me. I will talk to you. I will talk you through it. It's a very lonely thing to go through, but you're not alone. and you are loved and you're worthy of love, and you will have your rainbow baby one day. But I think I'm going to go ahead and say bye right here, and that I will talk to you guys again really soon. Bye.